Most people only have a few significant alternate life paths so close to them. But you, here, you're capable of anything because you're so bad at everything.
Talk about being depressing.
Well, in a good way.
That was supposed to be uplifting.
Well, you can be uplifted further if you're beaten down first.
Yeah, at least she wasn't being beaten down. So, I guess that's a plus.
Well, after you reach the bottom, you can only go upwards, right?
That's right. That's right.
I would have to say, for all of you guys listening, this is my type of movie, right? I love, as you guys heard from previous episodes, how I love the multiverse and how I love parallel universes and all this stuff. But I would have to bring up the fact that when Gio was watching this movie, this is what I heard.
Yeah, that was my brain trying to process it.
He was watching it in 9600 board. Line by line.
Yep.
God, I remember
Gio,
that.
let me not speak for you. What did you think? First of all, how many times you watched it?
3 times since yesterday.
And what do you think?
Can you play that sound again?
Oh wow!
That's what I think.
I don't know if I should be worried or not that I watched it once and understood it fully.
Well, me too. I
think that's self-deceit to think that you understood that movie.
Well, having been a host of Radio Chaos for 3 years, I fully understand chaos. Like I'm one with the chaos now.
So that's why you get along so well with Captain Chaos?
What did I say earlier, Robert? This is like mental diarrhea on the multiverse.
I think we're going to have to change his name back to Private Chaos. I don't think he's a captain at it yet.
No. This movie made me a private.
Private First Class Chaos reporting, sir.
Not even first class, man. I'm like intern.
Oh, wow.
Private Third Class. Private Third Class.
It lowered my ranks.
Oh, wow. So
you busted out of the core if you get me.
Yeah. So before we start talking about this movie, because it seems that we have a lot to say, especially, Captain Chaos here.
Do we?
Let's.
He's not sure. He'll be thinking about it while we talk about it.
You never see me confused in an episode, but this is going to be the first time.
So if you guys are watching on YouTube, which by the way, you should
pin it yet, have we?
Liked and subscribed. When you're watching on YouTube, just pay close attention to Gio's face. Just enjoy through the entire episode. Okay?
Yeah, Gio, maybe this will help you understand it. Okay? You watching? Does that help you understand it?
Okay, so before we continue, let's go into our first segment.
Define science fiction remnant.
And you know what we're talking about here. If you know someone who loves sci-fi as much as we do, and they have not heard our show, just tweet at us, call our number. By the way, the number is 1-305-563-6334. And let us know how you would describe us to them. And your message will be played on future episodes. And of course, if you can also tweet at us, you can also email us. It doesn't matter how you get your message to us, and we are going to mention you on the show as well. So, what if you think back? We have gotten so many answers throughout season 2 as to how we might be stuck to certain ones more than others. Can you recall, if you can recall one they called out of the top of your head for today that you liked on how we are being described? I I like the fact that, in the previous episode, if you heard our episode on evolution, Ray mentioned the three amigos, and that's, to me, that's kind of cool. If I envision us three sitting down on the same sofa, watching and pausing, the movie,
And hey,
making
man,
it longer
what
than
I
what
love
it
the most,
is.
like we're friends in Spanish. The three amigos.
There you go. The three friends, the three amigos. So that, I don't know. I just have to
I
point
want to
it
be
out 'cause-
Dusty Bottoms.
So yeah, pretty much we are not talking about that, that reviewing, is this movie 5 stars? Is this movie 3 stars? Or, I like how, occasionally we might say, okay, I like how this director and this actor and this plot developed, but yeah, we're not solely about that. We're basically talking about all the geeky stuff that's happening on the stuff that we're watching. And you could probably hear on previous episodes from Gio how we turn a 1 hour movie into 3 hours because we keep pausing it and keep talking about it. And that's the whole idea. That is the idea where I wanted to bring a lot more people to that couch. That couch is very small. So the best way that we can do that is invite people over to listen in. And just like that, I mean, if you had any comments about what it is being said on this any of our episodes, I invite everyone to reach out to us. You reach out to us, and we'll make sure that we'll answer to you on future episodes. It doesn't matter if it's about a past episode that we have recorded, but that was the whole idea. Is the whole idea is for us to kind of watch this together and talk geek, and that's the whole idea for me to how I would describe ourselves. Do you have any? You guys want to add to that, or you have any different thoughts or opinion on how you? I know Gio has uh, a view from. You have a view from the inside, and Ray has a view from the outside because he came in later. I mean, now he has a view from the inside, obviously, but the
Welcome to
perspectives,
the inner circle.
our three perspectives are completely different. So it's kind of interesting if you guys,
I
based
mean,
on what
Robert
I
doesn't
just said.
count. He's a pushover.
Well, how do they call me as the D&D DM?
Yeah, Cinderella, I will call you.
I'm the easy DM. Everybody likes to
Come on,
play
man. You
DM,
give Tylenol in fucking D&D. I haven't seen that shit before, and I don't play D&D.
and no one dies on my campaigns. Okay.
Look at the rat pouch. It has Tylenol, heavy strength, 1,000 milligrams. What the fuck?
So yeah, I am they call me the ECDM. So, um, any thoughts? I mean, Ray,
DMO.
if you can think of, yeah, the DMO. If you can think of like from your perspective, from a listener perspective, um back when you were, obviously you like the show because we have busy lives, and we understand. You're not going to press play on any of the shows if you don't have the time, or if you don't like it, because you have better things to do. So um what perspective, based on what I said, and I guess I'll get this from Gio as well, um what perspective you see from, like, when you listen to our show initially, like the very first time. And I know we talked about this multiple times, but um just so someone that is
Ray?
listening to this and haven't listened to our previous
We
episode.
talked about this.
Go ahead.
I'm just waiting for Robert to stop so I can say something.
There you go. I'm gonna do my beer.
Take a sip of your beer, Robert.
Suck on it,
Well,
Robert.
I mean, I've listened to lots of different podcasts, and you sort of listen for a while, and then it gets a little bit stale, and you move on, and a lot of podcasts, they have they get into a sort of a rhythm, and then it becomes a rut, and then they either implode because the people who are doing it get bored, or you just get sick of it because it's the same old, different day, same shit. as they say. But the thing about science fiction render that really engaged me was the fact that you don't have rails. The discussion will go anywhere. You can be guaranteed to find yourself somewhere completely unexpected every single time. I mean, my perfect example, the one that I think got me hooked, was Pitch Black, where you and Geo had this 25-minute discussion about planetary and moon orbits and sun positions and all this stuff. I'm like, what?
I remember that. Oh my god! And you remember what Geo was saying? Well, when I was talking about what was the hottest planet, or what it was the coldest planet, and I was like,
Pluto's not a planet.
I didn't want to disagree with him on audio, but I let it go through. And
Is Pluto a planet?
Oh God, yeah, I remember that episode was a lot of fun.
It was, but the thing that drew me to join was the fact that you guys fuck so much stuff up. It was like, no, that's wrong. What are you saying?
Ray is here just because of his scientific duty.
At least do a little bit of research. Come on.
Oh God.
I mean, if you preface it with this is just my personal opinion, but then I'm fine with it. But you just stay in stuff, and I'm like, no, really? What? Google says.
The funny thing is that I found myself in this season proving you that you have wrong point of views.
Smart. I'm not perfect. I will.
You're a scientist. You're a scientist, man.
Take that to his grave.
I'm just a dumbass.
He's gonna take that to his grave.
The difference between a dumbass and a scientist is the scientist has practiced being a dumbass more than you have.
Oh wow!
Scientists are scientists because they want to know where they fucked up, so they go looking for it.
And that is the type of engagement that I look for. And you occasionally, we have had discussions in the past where I would say something incorrect on purpose, so I can get the engagement up. And that's the whole idea. What I mean by engagement is I mean the conversation.
Nothing about weddings.
So we had this discussion before, and I think Ray has witnessed a couple of times where I would intentionally say something. It's just for the engagement,
to get your brain next time, so I don't correct you.
No, but see, I love that. I love that right on the show, we have this discussion, and you guys have the freedom to say, okay, yeah, you're wrong in what you're saying, and here's why. And I love that. And this is why what I expect not only from us here in the show, but also from the listeners. So you can join in and engage in the conversation. We can have a great conversation. And I love that. So yeah, that's just wanted to clear that out so you guys know. So
the point is, you're a masochist and you like to be told that you're wrong.
I enjoy the conversation. How about that one?
You're wrong.
The whole thing about anything scientific is that it's what we know now. In the future, we will know more. So we could be quite wrong at this point about.
In the future, it could be wrong too. So that doesn't mean that what we know in the future is of substance.
Well, I preface everything with current understanding is, because the understanding will change. Yeah, it's not set in stone.
I mean, it's not very easy to say that just by pure chance, something that you say wrong today could be truth in the future.
Or it could be truth in a very close alternate universe.
Also,
truth is merely subjective.
With googly eyes.
Yeah. If I ever develop a third eye, the all-seeing eye, I want it to be a googly eye. Because
yes, please. Me too.
Because he was putting googly eyes on all the bags to cheer everybody up and make a few jokes, and she picks on her and goes,
"Our googly eyes."
She
But
like
they're happy. The
she
close is
owned the
happy.
googly eye.
Oh God. Okay, so let's let's move on to the next segment. We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are Monorats.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable and Open Pike Night.
This is Sci-fi.
And on this segment, we feature our hashtag. And you know what? I say our hashtag, but it's basically our hashtag. This hashtag is for sci-fi creators as well as sci-fi fans. And as we heard me before in the past, talk about how it's a way for us to come together
I heard you before in the future.
join in everything that we love together. And there's in doing that, there's a high chance of discovery. There's a lot of times where we have come to an end of an IP, a great sci-fi book or a great TV show, sci-fi TV show, or a good sci-fi movie. And we feel empty. How many times have you said that before, Gio? When you come to a close of something and you just feel empty?
Many times.
So
Sometimes it's so bad it's like having a breakup.
yeah.
No, breakup is easier.
Oh, okay.
You can always get somebody else, but you not always get such a good show or movie.
Okay, that is the wisdom of Captain Chaos. You heard it here first, jokes.
He certainly backs himself in the romance department, doesn't he?
Hey, life has shown me we are all replaceable, but a TV show is not replaceable.
So the whole idea is, if you're a creator of anything sci-fi, share your creation in this hashtag. This is sci-fi. And if you're a fan, follow the hashtag and you'll discover a lot of different things that people have shared that they love. And that way we share the love for sci-fi. I don't know if you guys have anything, but I have one thing that I want to bring up here. And the hashtag is actually from E. Lee Zimmerman. He is I believe the owner of sci-fi-history.net, which if you are not reading, you should. It has really cool articles there. And he posted the 1954 adaptation of 1984 turns 68 years young today. It's really
that's
good.
a brain melting comment.
Yeah.
54, 84, 68.
Yes.
My measurements. Shit, where did you get those from?
And that is one thing that we should cover in this. We should actually record an episode on 1984. That is a great story. Are you familiar with it, Gio? 1984. Have you read the book or?
No.
I was forced to read the novel in high school.
1984.
1984.
No.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna talk much about it, but this is something which we should eventually do. But I just find it very interesting that 1964 adaptation of that book turned 68 years. So sci-fi has been for a long time, and we kind of don't really realize with so much sci-fi that we have nowadays. And it's great for a sci-fi fan, the amount of sci-fi. I remember when I was younger, and we talked about this in previous episodes, there wasn't that much, out there that you can. Right now, you have the liberty of choosing and picking. Well, before we didn't have that much. So it's really interesting how sci-fi is been out there for a while. And it makes me happy that we have so much choice today. So I don't know if you guys had anything for This is Sci-Fi, but I just wanted to bring that up on the show.
I mean, I think that I've said it before, but I mean, what I love this hashtag is that you want to find people that you have interests in common. Usually, this is the best gateway to it. Whenever I go to Twitter and I want to have a good heated conversation about a debate about something, this is the place that I go to. This is sci-fi.
Yeah,
And accompanied by any other property that I like, jackpot all the time.
Yeah. And the great thing is, it's not just us. You know, it's not, technically, we're not self-promoting. We are promoting the
movement.
genre of sci-fi. So you have
the
multiple
multiverse of science fiction podcasts.
There you go. There you go. There's tons of podcasts that are
podcast
on the
bears.
This is Sci-Fi. Yeah, the podcast bears. They're everywhere with talking about anything all at once. If you press play. If you
No
press
pun
play,
intended.
So awesome. So Gio, are you ready for your segment?
I never am, but I always manage.
Shout outs.
Well,
He's
before the
pantsing
shout outs, what do you say?
You're pantsing it.
Pants in it?
Yeah, by the seat of your pants.
Just make sure you don't have any ants.
No, I don't have ants. It's ticklish.
Just make sure there's no awards nearby.
Okay, you guys are getting graphic. I think it's contagious, my dirtiness. I wanted to mention that we're part of the Blind Knowledge Podcast Network, and we hope to continue being, and everybody should go and check them out. They have a great array of content creators of all kinds, so go and check them out. Now, moving on to our shout-outs, have a special thank you to Zimmerman from SciFiStory.net. Yulia, Farida, thank you for the follow. We'll give you a follow back, and we hope you enjoy our content. Captain Funnest Frontier, his handle is Dex Lower, for those who like
Lower
it.
Decks in the house.
Yeah. Also, Suns and Shadowcast, and their handle is Suns and Shadows. ClickySproutWife.
Oh yes.
ARKS Sci-Fi horror comics. Love the content,
awesome
man.
comic.
We had to start planning for the second volume, man.
Yeah,
That's one of the comics that I love the most now. They are my favorite.
If you guys have not listened to our ARKS episode, you should download it and listen to it. It's a great comic.
Oh yeah.
And you should go buy the comic and then listen to our show.
Oh yeah.
It would be worth it.
And if you want to find them out, go and check their Twitter handle. You can find everything about them from there. It's ClickyW. You can find all the details, their main link, and you can find there where to buy their comic. Definitely suggest it. Must read. Also, one of our biggest all-time supporters, we love her. We need to plan to have her again on our show, Manic, Pixie, Weirdo.
Abigail,
where are you?
I don't think she's been on this season, has she?
I think not in this season.
Yeah, I think she has. She
has. Well, there's never enough of her. We can have it again.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. She was in our 13th floor episode.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking for that part of the backyard, man, when I see everything greeted. And last but not least, and we also had to be another episode with them or have an operation on the show, the Sci-Fi Wise Guys.
Yes.
Love watching them. I actually have them on favorite and notify on my Twitch TV, and every time that they come up, I'm listening to them. I have so much fun watching them. The last episode that they were having,
yes.
And you can find them if you want. Actually, their handle is pretty easy to find. It's Sci-Fi Wise Guys. Just as it reads, you can find them on Twitter. You can find all their medias from there.
Oh, and I have another way that you can find them.
What?
If you go to GoodPods and look for science fiction top 100 podcasts, we're basically in the first page.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. And just to close the segment, I want to let everybody know, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe and click on that ring bell so you can watch us also on video, so you can watch all the stupidity that I can bring into fun with our video. So go ahead and subscribe, man.
I think we need a wrestling match between Captain Funniest Frontier and Captain Chaos. I think that could go down well.
Hey, Captain Chaos, why don't you reach out to Captain Frontier and we have him on the show?
Hey, I don't mind, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not about winning. I'm about having fun. So
I want to have that match on live.
it's like one of my favorite
YouTube.
quotes, man. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
We haven't done Lower Decks yet, have we?
No. And I'm loving that TV show. It's amazing.
Yep.
Well,
and
okay.
we'll leave it at that for this section.
So if you're listening to us, Captain Funniest Frontier, look out for that message from Captain Chaos himself to be on our show.
The chaos is coming your way.
Yes, be ready. So we're gonna go to the next segment.
The Outer Remnant.
Oh yeah, the Outer Remnant was good this week because, of course, this is practically my segment, unless one of you guys has wandered off and chatted with somebody else on their network. But the Radio Chaos, more chaos. Episode 145 this week was Avatar 2 and Alita sequel. Is the worm finally turning? And it's been a huge week for the Alita Army. We've had multiple, what should we say, shout-outs about the possibility of an Alita sequel from John Landau and James Cameron. So they wouldn't be doing that unless things were fairly well along.
Yes.
So I'm dropping a prediction here right now that on February 14 next year, which will be 4 years since the release of Alita Battle Angel, we will hear a green light announcement. That is my expectation. So,
and we will cover it.
Yeah. But if you guys want to do anything to get an Alita sequel, go out and see Avatar 2 lots.
Yes.
Put money back in the coffers, pay off that big debt that James Cameron has with Disney, and then we'll be seeing some money for an Alita sequel.
Yes. And you can call me in. I'll pay the ticket and I'm buying the movie as soon as it comes out. So I do really, really, really want a part 2 of Alita. I don't know about you, Captain Chaos, but I'm all in.
Oh, I'm in, man. I'm part of the Alita Army. What are you talking about?
For sure. Hey, the Captain Chaos has been on Radio Chaos more times than you have, Robert.
Yes. I'm going to have to remedy that.
Yes, it is. The chaos attracts the chaos.
I need to be back in this week.
It is awesome to have
we're having another chaos this week, right?
Actually, well, the next one after this will be Christmas, so we won't be happening then. That would be the next recording.
Okay.
For that one. So it'll be New Year's, which will be the 3rd anniversary of Radio Chaos.
Oh, I cannot miss that.
You can join for that one, both of you. We'd be happy to have you. But like we usually have 2 or 3 people on the panel, maybe 4 if we're lucky most weeks, because we're been doing this for 3 years and we're up to episode 145, and the topics are getting further and further from the mainstream, so it's less likely that everybody's going to be interested in them because we've covered all the main stuff already. So we're looking for weird and wonderful things to talk about to keep it fresh. But this week we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people on the panel. So as you can tell, the Alita Army is basically reactivating. There's finally some news. We've been waiting forever for people to react to things, and in 1 week John Landau reacts to the LA Times ad that we put in for Alita Day on the 9th of the 9th. And he also, without being prompted, basically turned around and said that they want to circle back to Alita and do a sequel. And then we had James Cameron make Robert Rodriguez promise to do a Alita sequel on director on director. So basically, like they're up there going, let's do one. Okay, promise. Fist bump. Nice. And they were both into it. So I'm pretty sure that 2023 is our year. I'm pretty
They
sure.
did a block bat on camera. This is beyond mortality now.
So so the live stream was talking about Avatar 2 and how good it was, and apparently it's really, really good. I haven't seen it yet, but people are going back to see it multiple times. It's that good. There's so much happening in it that they need to go back and watch it again to try and take it all in. And it's raised the bar in expectations of what movies should be like. The 3D is apparently awesome, and it might bring 3D back again. The original Avatar sort of kicked off the 3D craze at the cinema, and this one might bring it back again. But apparently it's really good. I probably won't get to see it until near New Year's, but I'm planning to get there eventually once, all the Christmas stuff is out of the way. And lots of people in the panel had seen it, and they were all singing its praises and hoping, for 2 billion plus at the box office. So
Awesome.
I've just read that it's over 600 million in China already. Is that right? 600 million? It was a lot of money.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice.
A lot of Chinese people went to see it on opening weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's going to be gangbusters, that one.
So let's, if you like Alita, if you're a fan, let's do it. Let's
And
get
if you're
this
an Avatar fan, go and see.
Oh, definitely.
If
I am.
if you are.
Yeah, and if you're not, watch Alita. You'll see why. You'll see why.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so which one is in the beta, gamma, or alpha universe?
Alpha.
Alpha. Okay.
Verse
Juju
jumping
booty.
was invented
Juju
in the
booty.
alpha universe.
Juju booty.
Okay. So, are we ready to talk about this? I don't
We
think-
are, but Geo's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Gio. Are you ready? Did you get this whole thing?
Geo, you need to process. Come on, quick.
No,
Catch
man. I like Juju booty.
Come on, Gio. Come on.
Juju booty, man.
Connect.
Somebody picks up the phone and ruins the connection.
Hello
again.
So this, first of all, I would have to say this movie was a lot of fun.
Yeah, if anything, yes.
It felt like a double feature with Evolution, actually. It had the same sort of vibe.
Yes. It had the same vibe.
I have to add that this movie, differently from Evolution, had a lot of sentimental element to it.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
It had
Evolution
a family
has no
element.
sentimental shit. It's just nonsensical laughing.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what I have to say is I like how they separated the movie, exactly how the title of the movie was. So you got like part 1 was everything, part 2 was everywhere, and part 3 was all at once. And it was kind of clever how it was done. Do we have
By the way,
plot?
to go and watch this movie probably a couple of times before you listen to the rest of the show, because you got to see the movie and experience it without spoilers to really appreciate it. If you listen to us and then go and watch the movie, it's not going to be nearly as good. So pause, go watch the movie, come back if you haven't.
The
watched
movie's
it.
so confusing, it wouldn't matter really.
Only to you.
But if you listen to us, you might not understand our comments also.
Yeah.
Because
If you understand it at all in any other episode.
Hey, I was lifting weights while I was watching this, and I still understood it. I wasn't completely focused.
Okay,
on it.
you don't have to rub in our face your superior capacity.
Exercise the body, exercises the mind.
No, when I exercise my body, my mind goes.
This could be the problem.
Yeah, sounds like it could be.
I have enough blood to pump just several organs at
God,
once.
we're going there.
I should say
Okay.
with this movie, you've got to be okay with subtitles because they jump between English and Chinese a lot. So
Oh yeah.
And I did watch it in English. So, do we have the plot?
Well, before anything, I think that it was awesome to see Jamie Lee on her character. Oh my
she was
god,
so good.
shit, man!
And did you get that the people with the circles on their heads were believers of the bagel?
Yeah, of course. I almost made the bagel here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many Easter eggs in this movie that paid off later on. Like the awards behind Jamie Lee Curtis's character. Oh, he's drawing the bagel on his forehead. Is it a bagel or a smiley?
A bagel.
I thought you were drawing a smiley. That was last week. Smile, 3 eyes. Just join them up and you got the bagel.
There you go.
So this movie came out, when we're recording, it was this year, but when you're listening, it was last year. Gotta love those time dilations. The budget was somewhere between 14 to 25 million. I don't know how they can have 14 to 25 million as a budget. I mean, that's
they
a lot
use
of
the same building for everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I have to say, if you are please, if you're listening to this podcast from an alternate universe, reach out to us too. We'd like to have the
We'd like to
conversation.
know.
The only person
But
that can do that, I
don't
think,
bring
is Madison.
bagels. We don't want any bagels.
No
I
bagels,
think that
please.
Madison on the air can do
Especially
that.
black bagels.
We'll give you milk if cows are no longer existing in your
Yeah,
universe.
yeah, we can
Cookies.
spare some milk. You're good. Yeah, so I figured that the difference, like $11 million was probably the outfits for Jobu Tapaki. Probably $11 million of outfits.
And
Boy, there
horrible
was a lot of
makeup.
them.
And horrible makeup.
Oh, come on.
I think
Such an
I
old
think
man.
I'm not trying to poop on the directors like people from makeup, but they got failed makeup artists and then they're like go nuts.
The makeup was amazing, dude. I visualize yourself on them.
It looks like a
especially
horror
the
movie
last
from a
one.
K-pop video.
You
I
just
wanna
don't
see Captain
appreciate the artistry of makeup. It was
Yeah,
brilliant.
you just don't understand art.
Yeah.
No, I would say no. Then I don't. And
I want to see Captain Chaos as one of those makeup, especially the last one.
Yeah. I'd like to see him with all little diamantes on his face.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
And the big bagel on his head.
Yeah. Oh, he's drawn on his forehead, so
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Oh God, yeah.
Yep.
What was the other one? I was like,
Yeah, that was it.
Are we doing Naruto now?
I'm impressed that you can do that. Wow.
I wish you know you
did you do the special effects for this movie?
I show you the other dimension, man.
Guys, if you are not watching the YouTube video, you're missing out.
That's why I do this kind of thing, so people have to go and watch it on YouTube.
like and subscribe.
If you're a 0-day listener, you need to wait a month and then go to the YouTube channel and watch what he's doing. My God.
I'm showing the other versions.
Special.
Okay, so let's continue with the plot.
The plot. Okay, this might help you, Gio, because did we start calling you Thomas the Tank Engine?
I was watching a movie, The Bullet Train, and there's these two assassins, and they're like brothers from like childhood, and they always watch the Thomas the Train, so they refer to everything as Thomas the Train, and the one that is by people, they sound like they're Diesel, they're bad shit.
Oh, wow.
That movie's so good, man.
I feel bad that I completely understood what you just said.
You gotta watch that movie, man, with Brad Pitt. It's so good.
I think I have to check
Brad
it
Pitt
out.
is called Mr. Ladybug.
Oh, nice.
Fair enough.
But that doesn't beat Captain Chaos. So,
No, nothing beats Captain Chaos. Okay. The plot of Everything Everywhere All at Once. In China, Evelyn Quan Wang falls in love with Waymond Wang, same name as me, but a W, starting with a W instead of an R, and against her father's objections, elopes to the United States. The couple open a laundromat and have a daughter, Joy. Years later, the laundromat is being audited by the IRS. Waymond is trying to serve Evelyn divorce papers. Evelyn's demanding father, Gong Gong, is visiting, and Joy wants her mother to accept her non-Chinese girlfriend, Becky, who Evelyn will not be truthful about, to Gong Gong. So yeah, it was a complicated start.
yeah.
I can see why Captain Chaos got a bit confused. At a fractious meeting with the IRS inspector Deirdre Beaudry, God damn, that's a difficult last name, Beaudry, Waymond's body is briefly taken over by Alpha Waymond, a version of Waymond from the Alphaverse. Alpha Waymond explains to Evelyn that many parallel universes exist as every life choice creates a new universe. The Alphaverse, led by the late Alpha Evelyn, developed verse jumping technology, which enables people to access the skills, memories, and bodies of their parallel universe selves by performing bizarre actions. The multiverse is now threatened by Jobu Tupaki, the Alphaverse version of Joy, which is Evelyn's daughter, whose mind was splintered after Alphaverse Evelyn pushed her to extensively verse jump. Jobu now experiences all universes at once and can verse jump and manipulate matter at will. She's created a black hole-like everything bagel that threatens the multiverse.
Neo from the Matrix.
Pretty much, except without the bagel.
Yeah.
If Neo had a bagel, it would have been just 2 movies, wouldn't it?
It would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Neo needs a bagel.
He does. That would have sorted everything out. The bagel will set you free.
Yeah, pretty much.
Evelyn is given verse jumping technology to fight Jobu's verse jumping minions, who are now converging on the IRS building. She discovers other universes where she made different choices and flourished, such as becoming a kung fu master or a movie star, while also learning of Waymond's plans for divorce. Alpha Waymond believes Evelyn, as the greatest failure of all Evelyns in the multiverse, has the untapped potential to defeat Jobu. Alpha Gong Gong, controlling Evelyn's Gong Gong. Yes, it's getting complex. Gong Gong's the father from China. Instructs her to kill Joy and stop Jobu from entering her universe, but Evelyn instead decides to face Jobu by gaining powers through repeated verse jumping. While Evelyn is chased by Alpha Gong Gong's soldiers, Jobu locates and kills Alpha Waymond in the Alphaverse. Bye, Waymond. As Jobu confronts Evelyn, Evelyn's mind splinters as Jobu's has. So, like daughter, like mother. Evelyn momentarily dies, ending part 1. However, like Jobu, her consciousness cannot die now. Her consciousness travels across the other universes. Eventually, she's able to channel her spirit into her dead body and resurrect herself, beginning part 2. It's sounding very much like the Matrix from the Neo. I'll just resurrect myself.
We got part 1, 2, and 3 in one movie.
And 4. Evelyn's detached consciousness begins to verse jump across bizarre, diverse universes alongside Jobu. Rather than fight, Jobu explains that she has been searching for an Evelyn who can come to believe, as she does, that nothing matters. She brings Evelyn to the Everything Bagel, explaining that she hopes it can allow her to finally die. Upon peering into the bagel, Evelyn is persuaded and begins to act nihilistically in the other universes, emotionally hurting those around her. Evelyn is about to enter the bagel with Jobu and end all her multiverse lives, but pauses upon hearing Waymond's pleas for everybody to stop fighting and be kind. Evelyn has an epiphany and follows his advice by using her multiverse powers to find what is hurting those around her and bring them happiness. In doing so, she repairs her damage in the other universes and neutralizes Alpha Gong Gong and Jobu's fighters. In her home universe, Evelyn tells Gong Gong and Joy of Becky's relationship, talks with Deirdre after Wayman convinces her to let them redo their taxes, and reconciles with Wayman. Jobu tries to end her life by entering the bagel, while simultaneously as Joy in Evelyn's universe begs Evelyn to let her go. Evelyn says that even if she could be anywhere else, she would always want to be with Joy. Evelyn and the others save Jobu from the bagel, and Evelyn and Joy embrace. Sometime later, with the family's relationships improved, Evelyn and her family return to the IRS building to refile their taxes. As Deirdre talks, Evelyn's attention is momentarily drawn to her alternate selves and the multiverse before she grounds back in her own home universe. And then the credits roll and Captain Chaos is still confused. The end.
Are you still confused?
Me?
Yep.
What made you think that the plot would clarify anything?
Well, that was a very Cliff Notes plot. There's a whole bunch of stuff it never even mentioned, like the fact that part 2 ends with the end of a movie, but it's not actually the movie you're watching. It's the movie that Evelyn's watching in the universe where she's a movie actress.
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliantly done.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And you know, it was kind of funny. I was actually watching this with my wife, and when the end credits come in, and it's like, okay, that's it. That's the end of the movie. And she's like looking at me like, this is not the end, is it? Because if it ends here, it sucks.
Just like Raymond said, terrible movie. Interesting ending, but very terrible movie.
if it ends there, then it's one of those movies Robert hates because it has a sad ending.
Yeah. So I would have to ask before we move on, what is your favorite universe out of the ones displayed in this movie? I can tell you my favorite after you guys say yours.
Oh, I think I know which one's going to be Captain Chaos's favorite universe. The one where their fingers are hot dogs.
The S&M one?
Well, actually, no, that one. That one would be better.
The S&M one.
Second favorite's the one where their fingers are hot dogs. And
I hated that one. That was just disgusting with the mustache.
Everyone's in a lesbian relationship with Deirdre.
And
that was the nicest part about it. And playing Debussy with the feet. Oh man, that got my tears.
When she plays the piano, yeah, that was so funny.
So, Gio, what is your favorite universe? You don't have any favorites.
No, I mean, I think I like the main one when she's fighting and she's divorced at everything. That's my favorite universe because that's where all the other universe meet. The one.
I think my favorite universe was the Kung Fu universe where she worked so hard on her little fingers that they had biceps on them.
They got muscles.
Yep.
There's a little bicep on a little finger. And she's like, and she puts it under the guy's chin and goes, and he flies up into the air about 10 feet.
And I like the main universe the most because Jamie Lee is their freaking wrestler. He's pushing cubicles and backbreakers. And the only faces she makes all the time, like.
You see these awards here, you don't get these awards unless you've seen some shit. They were butt plugs.
Well, you see, they got to use them.
You know, I would have to say, when I first saw them, you know, it was, the Jimmy Lee, by the way, great makeup. You barely recognized her. She's telling Evelyn that, you know, she's saying, like, you don't get this for nothing. And she's pointing at this awards on her desk. And I'm like, are they butt plugs?
What she specifically said was you don't get these awards unless you've seen some shit.
Exactly.
But
it's ironic. It's ironic because IRS, what they do, they're on your ass.
They get up your ass looking for.
Oh God, it was hilarious. So my favorite universe is the Rock universe.
Oh,
Ah, yeah, there you go. Yo, blah, 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 send shit. Cinderella.
It was so funny. They're just there. It's like, okay.
Why are we rocks? Well, this universe, the conditions for life to
Develop.
rise on Earth didn't happen. In fact, most of them are like this.
And at the end, you see the googly eyes in one of the rocks.
But shouldn't we be? Shh, you're a rock. Just be the rock.
And the complete silence. And all you see is the text because rocks can't talk.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you
it
have
seems
to
that they
read.
do.
Well,
We
through
don't have
text.
telepathy.
They were texting each other.
Yeah, there you go. Texting without phones.
Yeah, and rocks can do that.
Yeah.
Just let me go.
And then, what are you doing? Don't come any closer. What are you doing?
You can't do that. You're a rock.
I
I don't care.
Oh my god, the entire movie I was just like I was in tears. This and
You know how hard it is to lift weights seriously when you're laughing?
Oh my god. But yeah, I get your favorite universe. You can't really say you got finger punch. And that brings meaning to a brand new. Oh my god, that was amazing.
Even the little finger can do kung fu.
Even this cookie.
Oh god. Yeah, this movie did go everywhere. So you know what? I'm
All
gonna
at
ask.
once.
Hold on. I'm gonna ask Gio. I'm gonna ask Gio right now. What did you understand?
What did I understand?
Yeah, we know you
Okay,
did not
you're trying to
understand.
torture
much.
me now with your questions.
Is there one thing you understood in this movie?
Well, I understood that the kid was so self-involved that she couldn't see that her mother was going nuts with all the problems she had, which she probably was handling almost on her own on the vaccines. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of misunderstanding and lack of compassion happening towards the main character. And still, she's the one that learns to be compassionate.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This movie goes layers deeper into just funny, stupid action, actually. I mean, I feel terribly sorry for her when I see her reality. And when she had the first connection to the machine and she starts seeing her life in backs, like in rewind, it was fucking depressive. I mean,
Yeah.
she felt abandoned by her parents.
Oh yes.
She felt alone with her companion, and she had no understanding from her kid. Her kid only was there whenever she needed something.
I felt extremely sad when she came back, and there was a comment that she said to Wayman, where she says, "I saw my life without you, and it was amazing."
Yeah, I felt terribly bad because at the end of the day, still, if you look at Wayman, he is actually a compassionate person. And he's just trying to make things better.
Yeah,
by bringing happiness.
I don't blame him, and that comment sounds horrible, obviously, but that is out of context. Like if you watch this movie,
She
you
didn't
understand.
say that out of spite to hurt him. She said it because she
Exactly.
experienced it, and he didn't.
Exactly.
It's like when the women from Alpha Universe are like, "You're the best in this universe because you're worse at everything, so you're full of potential." You know,
You're
he didn't
living
say
your
that to put her
worst life.
down.
How would you feel if someone turned around to you and said you're living your worst life?
Yes.
It's like every decision you've made has been the worst one you could have made.
Honestly, if somebody tells me that now, like, tell me something I don't know.
It's that is a loaded statement because when you analyze this, you're definitely gonna feel really depressed.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, you can't go anywhere else but up.
Yeah.
So for someone, and this is mainly the reason, and I think it's actually said in this movie, mainly the reason why Alpha Wayman picked Evelyn was because the fact that she is the worst version of herself out of
Makes it the
all the
best.
freaking universes, she has the untapped potential to become anything.
Hmm. It makes her the best candidate because of that.
She's undifferentiated, so she can differentiate in any way that was needed.
Mhm.
And you know, yes,
And she's got
yes,
nothing to lose because she hasn't got anything.
exactly. And that's the reason why I said you can't go anywhere but up from there. She's
Mm.
living her, and you know, that has some serious weight when someone from the Alpha universe tells you that out of all the universe, and you think about that, all of the universes, that's typically an infinite number of universes. She is the worst version of herself. That is some weight right there.
Well, basically, every branching choice that she made, she is the bad choice.
And you know, that's the other thing too. We have talked in previous, this is the reason why I love this movie. We have talked in previous episodes about this, where I try to explain how we're actually traveling through multi-universes with our choices. And this movie explains it perfectly. Like, how many times have you heard me say, okay, you go on the street and you have a choice. You can go to the right and go to work, or go to the left and go get Starbucks and then go to work. In one universe, you know, say for example, I choose to go straight to work, for example. So I'm taking that fork.
If you were gonna go to Starbucks, you didn't miss much. The
It,
coffee
it,
at the restroom is gonna be just as good.
but in another universe, I did went to Starbucks first and then to work. So I actually technically jumped from one possibility to the other.
Yep.
And that's actually illustrated in this movie on her phone. You see, when she reaches a point where she has to make a decision, you actually see the branches on her phone. And as soon as she picks the decision, you see her following that choice, and the untapped branch still goes the other way around. So that is the best explanation that I can see on a movie that expresses what I've been trying to say for God knows how many episodes on this show, on how the multiverse, you know, what is the multiverse to me? We are. It's kind of like, you know, when they say we actually all are time travelers. We just can't go back. We're always traveling through to the future.
At 1 second per second.
Exactly. And and I want to take it even further. We're traveling through the future, through the multiverse. And our choices decide which multiverse we end up with. That is my thought. But when I saw that, I was like, yes, someone finally put it in a visual that could be understood.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get that, Gio, when you know what I'm talking about? Especially when they were showing her phone?
Absolutely.
So it got me excited.
I want that app.
Oh, yes.
You need the hand free first.
That app
Well, I gotta get the hands free. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to use two at the same time.
Oh, those blue. You know, it's kind of funny, but I still have those Bluetooth in one of those drawers. I used to use the same Bluetooth.
For God's sake, you have a palm.
Did you ever try swallowing a toy
bro.
frog? Did you ever try swallowing a toy frog and then pressing it?
No,
Robert has a palm note in his house.
I tried to lick the wall once, but that didn't turn them on. So sorry. But you know, maybe that was my issue. I should have swallowed a frog. Maybe that will turn them on. I could have traveled to another.
Choke you to death.
You got to chug a what would it be?
Blow
a gallon,
2
liter bottle of soda.
Oh yes, or blow on someone's nose.
Yeah,
you know,
I've done that before. It's pretty gross. Yeah, when I was young and stupid.
Turned on?
Last week, sometime. I didn't have. There wasn't Bluetooth back then, so.
Oh man, yeah, you have to put the Bluetooth on when you do that. Try next time. Let us know.
Okay.
You know, I just I like this movie, and I really want to get from Gio. It doesn't really. I understand the movie's really confusing.
No, it's not.
Well,
You just have to have a
you have to
brain that goes.
follow.
I think my brain is a Taurus, so I'm okay.
You have to follow. You know, this is one of those movies that you have to follow. You have to follow what's going on. Not necessarily, you know, it's not one of those movies where if you blink, you miss something. I don't think. I mean, what do you guys think?
Oh, look, you have to listen pretty closely because they jump between Chinese and English, and you've got to be reading along with the Chinese and then listen to the English and then read the subtitles for the Chinese again and then listen for the English, and it jumps back and forth. So that's a little bit confusing for some people, I think. People who are not good at swapping between visual and auditory for following along a conversation. So that could be a little bit of a steep price of admission. But yeah, I mean, you may have to go back and watch things a few times to pick it all up. I think probably because I was lifting and had the endorphins going, that I was just following along happily because my brain was in a good place. But, you know, don't be distracted when you're watching this movie, or you'll be like Captain Chaos and not understand
it. Hey, Captain Chaos, what is your favorite part of this movie? If something that comes to mind right away, you don't have to really think about it. I mean,
it's hard.
There's
when
so
Yuyu Booty comes up first, when they're trying to get out of the IRS, and she just starts transforming. She makes the first cop blow up into freaking glitter, and then she becomes a matador dancer with the other one, and then she gets she does like a freaking wrestler move, and then she gets shot, and she's like organic. It's just hilarious, man.
That is the beautiful thing about this movie, is they make nonsense make sense.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I tell you right now, the bagel will set you free. Where can you
she put
say
everything on a bagel.
Yeah,
that?
I got bored one day, so I put
eaten-
everything on a bagel.
Have you ever eaten an everything bagel?
Well,
If you can, if you don't,
And
then
sesame
you can
seeds.
never understand this movie. I have.
but you know what I'm saying is, hear yourself say, you know, the bagel would set you free. That makes no sense.
Yeah, because you never eaten an everything bagel. Of course, it makes no sense to you.
But if you
Hey,
watch,
black bagel, ram-a-lam. Hey, black bagel, ram-a-lam.
but if you watch this movie, it makes sense. You know, there's so many parts. You know, you mentioned drinking a whole jug of like orange soda.
Yeah.
You know, just to get powers.
The scene where the two guys are trying to shove things up their butts to get skills, and she's trying to stop them. And then they both manage to do it, and they're attacking her from either side. And she goes into slow-mo, and she grabs the two things out of their butts, and they just collapse.
No, before that, when the
just
guy actually
amazing.
jumps in a flip and lands on
Yeah.
freaking butt plug, and he's
Yeah.
fighting with the sensor in his ass because he's like nothing on the bottom.
Well, yeah, he's got no pants on. They've pixelated his groin, but you can still see the award sticking out of his ass.
Yeah.
You know, when can you say that you saw a sci-fi movie where there was a huge, you know, kung fu fight where people had butt plugs?
The only sci-fi in this movie is multiverse talk. Nothing else is sci-fi on it.
What I actually really liked was the fact that Michelle Yeoh, who's known to be an amazing martial artist, is playing a complete failure of a character who knows how to do exactly nothing at all. She's failed at everything. She's skillless. And she acts that way. She acts completely useless. And then she gets access to the kung fu skills. And the look of shock on her face when she knows how to do stuff. Like she's going, blocking things and moving her hands around. She's like, what the fuck am I doing?
It reminds me of Matrix. I know Kung Fu.
But the skill, her acting skill of being stunned that she can actually do this stuff that she's been doing her entire life.
Yes.
Shows the depth of her acting ability. I mean, I always like Michelle Yeoh, that like the characters that she usually plays from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon all the way through Star Trek. I've loved her characters and the way she portrays them, but just the ability that she has to be somebody than other than she is just amazes me. And no kidding, she's one of my top 10 actors in the entire world.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's really awesome.
I mean, I would just watch this movie just to see what she does, because it's just amazing.
Did anybody notice that Wayman was in The Goonies?
No.
You guys
I didn't realize it was the same guy. No,
or Indiana Jones?
Really?
Yeah.
Wayman was Short Round.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And Data from The Goonies.
Short Round grew up and started jumping verses.
Well, the way that I see it is, Data, when her family eventually moved, they moved somewhere, far, outside the country, and he met Indiana Jones, and eventually grew up and married Evelyn and had travels in the multiverse. But yeah, all jokes aside, I was looking at him, and I don't know why, but maybe you guys should rewatch now, knowing this, and tell me if it's just me. But I saw Data and the kid from Indiana Jones and his acting, and it was really cool to me. It brought nostalgia to me, because I really like the characters. You guys didn't notice that at all? Like, didn't? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But you know the Goonies and Indiana Jones, right?
This is TV that you probably was not even around when he was coming up.
I haven't seen the Goonies since the 80s, so it's very patchy memories.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to fix that.
It's not really sci-fi, but
no. Outside the show.
Robert will find a way to bullshit himself way into sci-fi to it. He wanted to make Harry Potter sci-fi.
Hey, I will sci-fi the shit out of it, okay?
Oh yeah, I know. You were gonna say that Harry Potter once was freaking sci-fi because it's steampunk. Talk to me about far-fetching shit.
Any technology sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic. Therefore, Harry Potter is sci-fi.
There you go.
Yeah, sure.
There you go. There's his excuse.
You heard it here from the scientists, okay?
They even have a minister of science fiction. It's called the Minister of Magic.
Hey! I'm part of the science fiction remnant team now. I can bullshit with the best of them.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. The good thing is that what you like, Ray, it's sci-fi. Alita is actually sci-fi. They don't use mana to power an armor or a flying car with magic.
Oh,
hey! Look, I'm a big fan of an anime called oh damn it! Now I can't remember the name of it. But basically, it's magic-powered mecha.
Oh no, we lost it.
Oh, robots and magic, or mecha and magic.
We lost
something like that.
And that is sci-fi.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yep.
That is definitely sci-fi.
Cinderella is sci-fi.
Oh god. Nice. Man, yeah, this
Knights and Magic. That's what it's called. Knights and Magic.
Knights and Magic. I'm gonna have to put it on my list.
It's it's an anime. It's on Crunchyroll, I believe. But basically, it's an isekai with a guy who's a complete mecha junkie. Like, he builds mecha model kits and all that sort of thing, and he gets isekai'd into this world as a sort of a late. Well, he's somewhere around 10 or 11 years old, the body that he's transferred into, and then he ends up becoming a leader of a night brigade at like 12 or 13 years old, because he takes all his ideas from the mecha anime that he's watched and puts them into these magically powered mecha. It's really fun.
Wow. I want to bring these things. I guess it's because I like the actor. And these are things that I was actually observing and things that I discover by reading about this movie, and I was watching it. The actor that plays Wayman.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna butcher his name. Hugh One.
Yeah.
It has been 20 years since he had a major role. That is crazy to me. 20 years.
He was good.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember trying to look for, like, I'm sure he has done things, but there's nothing really major that I can recall that he has been in, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, he hasn't been in a major role for 20 years. Another thing, and this is playing back into what I just said about how I got nostalgia from watching the character Wayman in this movie, is like there's a scene. I don't know if you can remember the scene where he was telling. I can't remember exactly what Evelyn was doing. But he went to Evelyn and told her, snap out of it. That was a reference to Indiana Jones, his character short round. And his delivery of lines is really what got me. I don't know if this was intentionally. It would make sense if it's intentionally, because you know how you can get people with nostalgia, even more so, nowadays where, there's a lot of remakes and stuff like that. And seeing him, I saw the little kid in my head. And I don't know if it's just me, but then in his delivery of lines, there was a combination of Data and Short Round all across this movie. And now I discovered that there's little lines and little nuggets where he was kind of playing, I like to think it was the writers or the directors kind of playing with our nostalgic feelings. And it's interesting that you guys didn't pick up on this. But then again, you said that you haven't seen Goonies or Indiana Jones in a long time. So
yeah. Oh, I remember Indiana Jones. I've seen that more recently, like Temple of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones.
I think that there's gonna be a new Indiana Jones movie, right?
It's supposed to be.
Yes.
They're going to CGI Indy's face onto somebody else so they can do the running around.
Yeah, this movie was really good, and we kind of make reference to the last time me and Gio were talking about, because the first time we saw this, we were actually kind of watching it together and texting each other. This was Gio. How did you say it was? This was the one with Jet Li, kicked on to the ridiculous level.
Yeah. This is the one Jet Li with mental diarrhea.
We haven't
Like,
really
just had a
done
bunch
that
of.
movie.
It's like they did Powerpuff Girls on Jet Li, the one, like color, flowers, and bunch of sugar, and the X element. And you got everything all at once, everywhere. I even said the name backwards.
Oh man, yeah, I really enjoyed. I actually watched this with my wife a couple of times, and she enjoyed it as well as I did. It was a fun movie, and I just get hung up on the fact that this was one of the best interpretations that I have seen in movies before on the explanation of the multiverse. And that's the reason, one of the reasons why I like the movie The One with Jet Li. But this one, they actually physically show you the multiverse. So
Now, what was your favorite part, Robert?
my favorite part, because I did talk about my favorite universe. It's so hard because
I'm just paying you back for the question you gave me.
well, we agree that this movie is just so much fun. I'm partial with a couple of scenes. Like, for example, we know that I really enjoy the fighting scene with the butt plugs. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop laughing. It was just, it's especially when they were trying to, like the pre-flight, the pre-fight, where they're trying to get the butt plugs on, and Emily is preventing it. That's from this, where it actually started all the way through the end of that fight. That was
It
really
was very
cool.
Bruce Lee.
Yes. And another scene that I really like, that I would say would be another, and mind me, okay, there's so many good parts in this movie that me telling you about it might as well just tell you about the entire movie. So I'm trying to be very selective, so at least I can pick a couple. But the end of the movie, when Wayman said, "Be kind," so he's trying to show her, you don't win everything with brute force or violence. You can be kind and still win, and that's his superpower. And at that moment we understand why Wayman is the way he is, and why he's such a sweet and the best possible husband for this version of Evelyn that you could possibly have, because he wins. And you go back and see through the movie and all the chances that he actually won with kindness. One of the things that I can point out of the multiple ones, just to bring one major aspect of the movie, is when he's talking to the IRS agent, the bagel will set you free. If you're watching the video, Ray has a symbol of the big bagel on his forehead. So yes, like and subscribe, watch the video. You just don't want to miss this.
I think
And
Geo's
Gio-
is better.
I think Geo's is better.
I didn't staple it to my forehead, so
You should have.
Yeah, that could have been a lot more entertaining.
I'd have to go out of the room to get a stapler,
You're
so
right.
it wasn't happening.
Here, Ray.
Oh, thanks. Just staple it for me. Right there.
No, I like my screen. I don't want to fuck it up.
So the scene that I was talking about is a scene where he's talking to, the IRS agent came in with the police, and they were going to arrest Evelyn for whatever tax crime they were doing. And we see him talking to the agent, and all of a sudden the agent talks to the police and says, "Let her go." And that's just one instance. But if you watch the movie,
Unlovable
you'll
people
notice
like
how
us make the world go around.
he's he wins with kindness. And this is what he was telling Evelyn at the end of the movie is, you just be kind. And that's when the googly eyes come into place, which is one of my favorite things.
This is
Who
one of the
doesn't
things
love
that I like the most about Wayman. It's like it shows how little things can make the whole difference in a partnership. How little it really requires, and we don't take into account for somebody to want to stay. Because all he wanted was a little gesture of love, nothing
Yes.
else, and
He's
a little bit of attention. He didn't want to even have her whole attention, but like he told her, Like every time that I want to talk to you about anything, you always pull away. So like
Yeah.
he never had our attention for anything at all.
He said,
And
unless
you
it
know,
was an emergency, you won't give me the time of day.
Yeah,
yes. And
that's
you know,
fucking depressing.
you kind of understand, you know, especially how he is. He does, you get to see how much he does in that relationship
Yep.
without expecting anything.
Hmm.
But you know, how many years have they been married with the same situation happening every day? He just wants a little, you know, what's the expression? You know, throw him a little bone.
Yeah.
Just
It's funny because
one.
she tells him like we did a sacred promise, and when she said that, I was like, shit, that's not what anybody would sign up for
Yeah.
on a day to day. That's not the secret promise. So it's like you will bring the secret promise issue, but you would not commit to it.
And he tried to help her.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we see this at the very beginning of the movie when she's being stressed by all the paperwork on her desk. What he does, he grabbed it and tried to joke around, try to, you know, make her, you know, not only that, he tries to put googly eyes and hope that she would get you know, no, but she gets annoyed by all these expressions.
Hmm.
So it's in parts I feel sad for Wayman
Of course.
because of this.
Well, you realize by the end of the movie, well, close to the end of the movie, after all the fights are over, how much he's done for her, and she's finally realized, you know, that his kindness is the way to be. And when they're heading to the IRS office with the documentation near the end of the movie, he's going to go off to the bathroom. She says, "Hey, wait a second," and she grabs him and gives him a kiss and a cuddle, and she's so goddamn sexy. It's like she's
Yes.
like a teenager again.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the hell brought that on?
Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And I
It's
don't
funny.
think
No, you finish.
And
I don't
it.
think
that's
I don't think I've ever seen a man happy to go off to the toilet
Oh,
in my
yeah.
life. It's like, come back soon, and he's like,
He's thinking probably I need to go to pee more often.
Yeah.
But you know, that's it. That little gesture, it wasn't even a big thing, right?
No.
But for him, it was everything.
Man, it's like Gandalf says, the strongest things are in the smallest deed of the everyday.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It is that. And I mean, every relationship is what I like to think, and I always thought of, is relationships are like plants. And you have to put water into them. If not, they're going to wither away. You know?
yeah.
And most people, they get used to it. They take shit for granted. And they stop doing like what I like to tell people when they tell me, oh, what's the secret to a good relationship? Like, don't stop doing what you were doing when you were trying to get the person. Keep shit real. Still go out at least once a month. Still
Spice it
sit
up.
together and watch a movie. Do something together. Try to
Mhm.
feed that on. Don't take it for granted. If you don't, that attention is gonna be found somewhere else.
Don't
Yeah.
presume your partner knows that you love them every day. Show it.
Yeah.
That's another thing too, is we are as humans, we tend to see inwards and we assume a lot. So yes,
You know what's
do
said about
tell.
assumptions? It makes an ass of you and me.
Exactly.
I must look so
Um,
stupid saying all this serious shit with that crap on my head.
and
The
again, you
bagel
gotta
will
watch
set
the
you
YouTube.
free.
But
The
what I like
bagel
about
will
the
set you
bagel,
free.
man, it feels nothing.
So, you know, the reason why I was bringing that scene and why I think that scene is so powerful and so important, at least in my perception, is that I wish everybody would be that way. You want to be kind, especially nowadays where so much crap is going on.
Yep.
You know, and this is something that I actually learned
I drink to that.
through you know, through my life, is I seen cases, and let me just paint a scenario so you understand where in my life I actually learned that. Let's paint a scenario. There's a store, and a customer comes in and purchases an item. Let's say, for example, there's two customers, and by the exact
An
same
item or a
item.
butt plug?
Let's say they both buy the
No,
same
you
item.
got to win the butt plug for being a good IRS operative. You don't get to.
And you
say
gotta
shit.
lick the floor at the same time.
Unless you go into that room behind the desk, then there's plenty of.
So one of the customers come back to the store, and something happened to the item, but it was the fault of the person who sold it. The customer goes in to talk to the person who sold the item and acts like a normal Karen, yelling and screaming, "I want to see your supervisor," blah, blah, blah. I call that the vinegar effect. Even though it was the fault of whoever is at the store, in that particular scenario, the customer did end up with nothing. The other customer that bought the same item into the store, it was really nice, but in this particular case, it was the customer's fault. They damaged the item somehow. But because that person was kind, the store felt, the need to help the client, and they ended up with their issue resolved. And I call that the sugar effect. So when I say you win more people with sugar than with vinegar, that's what I mean. Be kind. You have no idea what the other person is going through. You can, we as humans, and I'm talking about myself as well. We think inward, because that's all we have. That's all our perception. Our perception is all inward. We can't really be in someone else's head. And we tend to see, obviously, everything from our own perspective. But you don't know what the other person is going through.
Not only that, I want to add to that.
Mhm.
We look always for the instantaneous rewarding option. And being good usually is not that.
Mhm.
Or making the best choice, the proper choice, the more noble choice. Usually that's the difficult road. It's not self-rewarding. It's not rewarding out instantaneously.
Exactly.
And people do this at a conscious level and a subconscious level. And I think it's more depraved when people do it on a conscious level, because then they know they're being shitty and they're just being cynic about it.
Well, some people think they're in the right, and they're doing right by doing that. And I understand that aspect of it, where someone might think they're not doing anything wrong. I just want to point that out, because that actually hit home when I saw that scene, and he said, "Be kind," and how she ended up winning being kind in a funny way, obviously. And that's what everybody. I mean,
Hell,
if
she was so kind, she actually gagged somebody and slapped him in the butt. Literally.
That's what this person wanted. This person was into S&M. What is the other person that she sprayed a perfume, and it was a perfume of the I guess the ex-wife
The
or
dead wife.
Yes.
dead wife. So she was giving every one of them what they wanted instead of killing them. So when I saw that scene, I was thinking, if everyone in this world would just be kind to the next person. It doesn't have to be everybody. This world could be a complete different world than what we see right now.
Pay it forward.
Exactly. So that's when I saw that was like, oh God, please, yes. Just be kind. If there's a message, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've got something to add to that. Have you ever tried barbecued mushrooms dipped in vinegar? Because it's awesome.
I'm gonna have to try that.
There are times when vinegar is really good, and that's one of
Don't
them.
do it when I go to your house, please.
So yeah, that's the
It's a
reason
long
why I
walk,
love
I
that.
warn you. Your feet will get wet too.
Can we take Captain's Chaos seriously?
No.
I mean,
Next question. That one's decided.
it doesn't matter that he has that stuff in his head, even if
The
he doesn't have
bagel.
it.
Call it by the proper name, the bagel.
The bagel will set you free.
The
Or
black
should I
hole
say?
bagel.
Should I say it on my voice?
Evelyn, bagel.
The bagel will set you free.
There you go. Okay. So have we all said our favorite part of the movie? I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, there
What
are.
about yours,
It's-
Ray?
It's a hard question. It's a hard question.
It is.
Well, everybody
Look,
should suffer the
I
same
can't
destiny.
decide. I can't decide. There were so many good parts to this movie. It's a movie you don't want to look away from because you're going to miss something cool. I mean, from
ridiculous.
Something cool
from-
or something uncool.
No, ridiculous is the word.
no, it's all cool. It's all cool. Well, from Jobu Tukaki rolling down the stairs, and every time she hits a stair, her clothing changes.
Yes.
From
the clothing department must be like
yeah,
crazy in this scene, right?
that was that $11 million that all went on clothes makeup.
Honestly, I
from
think
them
that
having-
was a budget bullshit. They went to Goodwills and they just picked one whole freaking rack.
they were fighting through multiple realities. Like, okay, you win in this reality, but let's move to one where I win. It's like,
This movie got a big business a bump to all the thrift stores for sure.
oh, for sure.
Oh wow.
From her discovering kung fu and being so shocked that she can actually do these things. Like the knees coming down, the knees like just at her nose, and she goes, boop, and she goes, oh,
I love you.
and just blocks it.
I love you.
Yeah, that was
You have to tell her you love her. You're kidding me, right? And then she jumps to the reality with hot dog fingers where she's in a relationship with Deidre.
I was telling Gio, I want those gloves. I
hot
so
dog
want
finger
some
gloves.
gloves. Hot dog fingers. Oh wow.
You realize that the show that they were watching on the karaoke machine with the British the British Army officer and the Indian lady was actually a porno when they were biting the fingers.
And
that was
ketchup and mustard.
That was sex in that world, yeah.
The
And there was
ketchup and
mustard. When the mustard starts flowing, you know that it's going. I mean, it's on. Boom chicka wow wow.
Boom chicka wow wow.
Exactly.
Oh, man. This is what I love about this movie is how ridiculous it is and how funny it. Nothing really makes sense.
I mean, if there's a scene where the guys are trying to shove things up their asses to activate fighting skills, and she's trying to stop them, it just okay. I'll just run with it. It's fine. I can handle anything now.
So you see, this is why I don't understand. The movie was.
What about Mecha Gong Gong?
Huh?
Mecha Gong Gong.
Make it go.
Mecha Gong Gong. Do you know what I'm talking about? Mecha Gong Gong.
Yep.
The old guy with the
wheeling chair, the trolley chair.
exosuit made out of photocopiers and phones and stuff.
Make a gun.
Mecha Gong Gong.
You see, it makes no sense. This is the reason why I don't understand. This movie was chaos personified. So how is it that Captain Chaos doesn't understand its own people?
Well,
there is such a thing as too much of something.
His chaos doesn't jive with their chaos. It's like positive and negative chaos.
My chaos have a continuum.
It's actually a chaos from another universe. That's
Clearly.
probably why.
Clearly. When
Oh,
when
wow.
when he had to get paper cuts between his fingers to activate the gymnastics
Oh, I
skill.
have to look away. I have to look away. Oh, crap. Yes.
And he's up there going, you can never cause a paper cut when you're trying.
Oh, yes, I have. Nope. Oh, wow. So, yeah, this is, it with all this stuff that he had, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Like for example, our previous episode was evolution. It was a funny nonsense movie, and it had a lot of freaking science in it.
Yeah.
This one was just as fun as evolution was. Really funny, enjoyable to watch, and there's technically only one science in it.
Yeah.
So did anybody else
Unless you
notice
can't
that?
make a gongo.
Make a gun.
I love
You
saying
guys
that.
should, yeah. If you haven't watched, you have to watch. It's
When we drop this episode, we're gonna have to have a hashtag Mekagongong.
Make a gun. Oh my god. So yeah, this is.
I've officially amused myself with that hashtag. Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, there was one science premise that the whole idea of the movie hung from, but it had that human component and the family component, which evolution didn't have. So
Yeah. Yes.
it moved in other circles. The Venn diagram had extra bits to it.
It just humanizes the whole experience of relationships, and not only with our loved ones, with our kids, with our friends, with our families, and with strangers. Which evolution just made fun of. So
But as long as you got clean hair and no dandruff, you're good.
Yes. Make sure you have that, Head and Shoulders. Not a sponsor by Head and Shoulders.
Not a sponsor.
Oh God. So yes. I would say even if you are turned off by having to read subtitles, which doesn't happen for the entire movie, just scenes. Even if you're turned off of that, I think this is a worth your time movie. It's just a lot of fun. And you might have to rewatch a couple of times. I mean, if you watch it just for the fun of it and that really how ridiculous the movie is, then you're good. You could watch it. But to understand it, I would say, would you say about twice? You have to watch a movie twice at least.
I was good with one, but I'm just different.
Yeah, I kind of understood it at the first one. I grasp more things the second time that I watched it. But yeah, it's just an all around movie, a fun movie that has quotes that you're not going to see other movies have. And just saying it out loud, this is how much chaos this movie represents. The saying quotes out loud to yourself, even you won't make sense of yourself unless you actually seen the movie and then you understand. So I guess we can move on to unless anybody else has anything else to say. We can move on.
I do have one thing. So you've mentioned that Ke Huy Quan was in Goonies and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but Mecha Gong Gong, the actor who plays Gong Gong, James Hong, was Lopan in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes.
So he's been around for many years doing awesome roles as well. So a lot of good names in this movie.
Yeah, I was
Great
looking for
actor.
movies and I ended up watching that movie on YouTube.
Is it just me or the actor looks the same? I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch
Hey,
Trouble
Asian
in Little
people,
China.
they don't age.
He looks no. It's the opposite. When I watched him on I don't know, maybe because I was young when I watched it, really really young, but to me he looked old in that movie, and he wasn't old. And now I watched him, and he still looks old, the same kind of old than I saw in Trouble in Little China. So is it just me, or you guys notice that too? I mean, I've seen Trouble in Little China multiple times.
He has a mature face, but he did look older in this than in Big Trouble in Little China, obviously because 30, 40 years have gone past.
Yes,
but
obviously.
obviously, yeah. But yeah, I mean, makeup and CGI can do a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I don't think his face needed a lot of tweaking to make it look a lot younger. Put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think we have reached. I'm sorry.
We've reached a logical conclusion to move on to the next part.
So I guess that the part of the show where we actually say our last what are our last impressions of the movie before we move on to our last segment. I can go first if you like, or if you want anybody want to go first. Okay. This movie was, in my opinion, it was just straight up fun. Don't be turned off by having to read subtitles. And I know this might be hard taking it from someone that actually likes anime. Weirdly enough, I watch anime nowadays subbed. Yeah. Big dub, not sub. So a lot of people was, the sacrilege. No, I used to watch it before, but now I watch. So yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds. The movie was very very fun to watch. And I might be partial to the fact that the movie actually touches a subject that I really really enjoy, which is the multiverse. But taking that aside, just how ridiculous the movie is, it makes it that much funnier, and it's just a fun watch. And of course, the movie shows what I already talked in the past, previously in this episode, where I said you could see how she wins at the end with kindness. And if there's something that I wish someone would take away from this movie, is just be kind. Be kind to, whoever comes into your path. Just realize that there has been a moment in your life where you were going through stuff and you would have wished someone be kind to you. So in that aspect, just think that you don't know what the other person is going through. Just be kind, and you'll be surprised how much better your life will become. So that's one of the good things that I took about this movie, is the fact that they show kindness actually wins. And you don't see this in many movies.
Yeah.
Especially movies that are basically kung fu movies.
Exactly. Kung fu movies that, all about the violence. This shows you that she had the power, but she chose kindness and won everything. So that's my final thought on this movie.
Cool.
Anybody
Do
else
you want to go next year, or should I?
You go.
Okay, so this movie runs at a frenetic pace. It's very quick paced.
No shit.
Lots of stuff happening. If
Lots?
you're like what if you're like watching this after work and you're a bit tired, you probably
You're not
want
gonna
to
enjoy
like wait until the weekend when you've had a good sleep and
Yes.
you've had some caffeine and your brain is running at a speed that can keep up.
Have a bagel.
A lot of stuff happens. Yeah. Actually, if you bought bagels, eat them before you watch the movie because you might be put off by the bagel.
Especially
But,
black bagels.
You might end up staring at your bagel, not the movie.
Yeah, it could happen. It is a great movie on lots of different levels. The sci-fi premise is not overbearing. You're not having science shoved in your face all the time, but it is there and it is prevalent. You've got to work a little bit to understand it. But the way it's sort of spoon-fed to the main character, Evelyn, because she didn't know about it until Alpha Wayman showed up in the lift and stuck the headset on her. So she's trying to understand what the hell's going on, just like you are, and she's basically your surrogate in the movie. So she gets the information spoon-fed to her, and then she's just messing with it to try and hopefully luck upon some skill that will help her get through. Because in the Alpha verse, she actually comes up with the technology. So it's in her sort of DNA to be an adventurer in this sort of environment. So that's why she can just sort of go, bugger it, I'll just try and come up with something and luck upon it. So that's what makes it really fun, in that she doesn't know what she's doing and we don't really know what she's doing because we're just experiencing it along with her. So I feel that it's quite palatable as a complicated concept because you're learning it along with the main character. So it gives you time to understand what's going on rather than having a wall of text at the start telling you how it all works, and then you're going to try and remember that while you watch the movie. It's much easier to get it in small digestible clumps as it goes along. But it's a very entertaining movie. If you like craziness, then you'll love this. If you want a quiet, laid-back movie, don't watch this one. Save it for when you've got a bit of energy, because it does require a bit of energy to get the most out of this movie. The acting was great. The sets and costumes were great. The frenetic pace was great. And the underlying messages were great. The whole, kill them with kindness, kind of win with kindness as an option rather than, just punching everything and hope and thinking that will win for you. Especially when you're, the greatest threat to the universe is your daughter. Punching your daughter is probably not the best thing to try and do. Try the kindness route instead. But yeah, I think she learnt the most from the version of Wayman that she never got together with.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that never was her husband was the one she learnt the most from, which was very interesting.
Not only that, I want to add to that he helped her open her eyes about the guy that she was married to, that she was not seeing.
Exactly.
Wow. When he said that line, it hit me. The guy in a big suit and, is a millionaire. And he said, you know what? I would have preferred to have a laundry business with you and do taxes than having all the money in the world.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing.
The other line he said, that one that loved the most is the one that regretted the most.
The whole thing, it's the old chestnut of you don't know what you've got until it's gone.
Yeah.
And they did say that when you jump verses, you access all the memories and the emotions of the version of you're jumping into. Yeah. So she was feeling that loss. She was feeling that missing part of her life. She knew what it was like to have that person. She was taking them for granted. And the one that she jumped into didn't know what it was like to have him and thought that she'd missed out. So they were both successful. He was a multimillionaire businessman, and she was a movie actress. But they never got together. They never had their daughter Joy, and they'd never had that fun, that relationship, that togetherness.
It's ironic because she's like the line that she says, like, "You should have seen my life without you," and it was beautiful. But she just tapped into that universe. Then she realized how sad it is. To one of my favorite quotes, which is like, "There's people that have so little that they only have money."
Yeah,
they have so little that they only have money. Yeah.
What are riches when you have no one to share it with?
Yep. Yeah. Or like my favorite rap says, "Fuck your diamonds and gold without your soul, you ain't rich."
Yeah. I mean that's painted all over this story. Is what really is important, what really is valuable, and everybody sat back and gone, what if I'd made this choice? What if I'd made that choice? How would my life have turned out? Would I be more successful? Would I have this? Would I have that? But then the character in this movie experiences all of that and discovers that she's actually got, she's told that she is the worst version of herself, skills-wise, but she's actually the richest version of herself with love and family and what really matters. And she discovers that at the end.
Look, one of my favorite quotes says, "Happiness could bite you in the ass and you will never know it. You will never know what it is." And that's how we humans are. That's how blind we are into our wants that we don't realize what we actually have already.
Yeah, it's evident from, I think it was Joy who actually said, you could go anywhere in a multiverse and you choose this to be your reality. And it's very evident. She recognizes that this version of herself is the richest one. So
yep. And the movie asks you to, as you watch this story, have a look at your own life through that lens and start to appreciate what you do have rather than thinking about what you think you should have had and you don't. And then maybe you'll stop taking the people in your life for granted and appreciate what they give you and what you give them and what it means. So that's one of the sort of deeper meanings and deeper levels of this movie, which I thought was really heartfelt and gratifying and satisfying.
Yeah. Okay, Captain Chaos, do you have any final thoughts?
For our listeners, first off, this is a movie that you could and should watch multiple times, not in a sarcastic way, but it's a movie. Most of the movies that we watch, we always say, the more you watch it, the more things you can find that you might have missed. And this movie is overloaded with quality, with elements and things that are just very valuable in message. And I think that the part that I like the most about it is the psychological part of it, not so much sci-fi part of it, because it tells about all those little things that we can all relate to, the everyday life, the simplicity of things that we take for granted. That breakfast with the family that you think is just okay, breakfast and go to work and that's it, but that might be more important than anything else in your life, really. And how they have a beautiful whole family, but they were all alone in their own way. And that was very sad to see, because you can relate to seeing that happen in your life, on the past or in the present, and it might help actually clarify or see world in a different lens. So it's a movie that I definitely would suggest to anybody to watch. It's a must watch from the film industry. I think it's a milestone movie. I would definitely consider it.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, this this movie is almost just like the title says, incredibly enough.
What a shock.
Shocker.
So okay, so Should we go into the last segment?
Yeah.
Sure.
The science in sci-fi.
Hey, just before we get started on this one, Robert, do you have an answer to my question about my Easter egg?
Well, it's not visible on the video, obviously, but
Obviously.
no, I have no clue.
So Geo can't see it either, but basically we type our names in before we join the restream session, and I typed in Ray in brackets 616. So if you're listening, there's a question for you. What does the 616 mean? I'll be
No clue.
no clue. Okay, it's too much of a mastermind question. 616 is the multiverse universe that the Marvel universe is in. From the Marvel multiverse.
Ooh.
So there you go.
So this could be a Marvel movie. We just don't see that universe.
It was too smart for being a Marvel movie.
You know, maybe that's one of those burner universes that they used to communicate.
Quite possibly.
It's possible. Oh wow.
That was just a little Easter egg, but only Robert could actually see it.
So on the science, we talked about this.
I'm gonna see this one. I'm gonna see this one.
You're allowed.
There's technically only one science in this movie.
No shit.
And this is all about parallel universes.
I still want that app.
Yes, me too. Oh my God. Yes. You know how many hardships you could prevent? You just look at whenever you have a decision
that's
in your
the
life.
danger. The danger
you
is
look
to
at
think
the
like
app.
that.
Yeah.
That's the danger. The temptation that it brings.
For you to win, what do you have to lose?
That too.
The moment that you try to fix something, you're fucking up a lot of things too.
Well, we talked about this in the episode The Arrival. We are not four-dimensional beings, so we can't really see the circular time in our lifespan. So that's why, in my opinion, time travel movies mess up because everybody is three-dimensional.
But if you listen to yourself, you're seeing the potential of this technology. So you're looking at it with the interest of tapping into time to manipulate it to do better on your own accord.
This app will allow you to travel to a different universe
and act differently in that different universe, not knowing what you're gonna actually change.
Exactly. So it's all about parallel universes, and this is it's a topic that it seems like is science fiction, but these are theories that are being discussed today by scientists.
Do you know who originally postulated the theory of multiple realities and when it was?
No, go ahead.
So it was originated by US physicist Hugh Everett in the late 1950s.
Oh, wow.
So it's been around for a while.
Yes. So the theory, as I understand it, and I do have an issue because I am partial to one of the theories, and I shouldn't be. It's just that in my head, it makes more sense. The article that I was reading is actually from Scientific American. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this, but it's a good website to getting scientific information. And their talk, and I can see how this writer is partial to the string theory. I am more of a quantum kind of guy, only because it kind of makes sense in my head. I might be completely wrong. I'm not a scientist. Number one.
It has a lot to do with the multiverse too, because the quantum also talk about entanglement.
Exactly. So I am partial to the quantum theory, but the article that I read kind of makes sense, and their string theory, where it says the key aspects of the new worldview of parallel universes
Sometimes
derives
I feel
from.
that the string theory was a bad joke that Hawkins threw before going, just to laugh in his grave about it. Everybody just fighting about it.
No, but it does make sense. It kind of makes sense, and that's the reason why you have valid arguments between one school of thought and the other about string theory and quantum. Um, it's supposed to be the theory of everything, and doesn't account for everything, and that's why they're fighting. While quantum makes sense in certain things, I do agree that it doesn't make sense for everything, and so is string theory. And the reason why I said I'm more into the quantum is because, from my perspective, remember, I'm not a scientist. From my perspective, it makes more sense, the quantum theory, than the string theory. I'm not saying string is wrong. As I'm sure, if you're a scientist and you're listening to me, you probably have a lot of valid counter arguments, because I am not a scientist. So basically, what they're saying in this article, which makes a lot of sense, is the key aspect of this parallel universes derives from string theory. Um, it's in the way that they said it's a fundamental theory of nature. A string theory admits an immense number of solutions describing bubble universes with diverse physical properties. Um, so this is where this movie is based. Is the not necessarily based, but I'm seeing the science behind it. In this, I don't know if I want to call it thought experiment that is being discussed in scientific communities about the possibility that they are multiple universes. Um, Ray, what is your thought on that? I mean, I don't know if you have any preference. Everybody has a different preference. Basically, when I start reading about online, and how some people prefer the string theory over quantum theory when it comes to explaining the multiverse.
As a scientist, I should have a preference, but I don't really, because there's not enough evidence pointing at either one to really
Exactly.
give it enough weight to say, well, that one is better. I mean, these theories are postulated by people who do the deep thinking about physics and reality and all that. So they know way more than I do, and I've experienced a situation in research. It was actually my first job, where the research group that I was working for were publishing papers saying one thing, and there was another research group on the other side of the world publishing papers saying exactly the opposite.
Exactly.
And they both had data to back themselves up, and it was all peer reviewed and it was published, and you couldn't say who was right at the time because there wasn't enough information. So there's multiple ways of looking at these things, and until definitive data can be generated to say one way or the other, you can't dismiss either.
Yeah, and that's the point, is the fact that this is one of those things that is kind of hard to prove. That what is that? I was reading, there was the reason that is that intelligent observers exist only in those rare bubbles in which, by pure chance, the constant happen to be just right for life to evolve. So it goes back to the constant, the observer, the intelligent observer. So how can we verify the existence of other bubble universes when we can't confirm from an intelligent observer? I don't know if
There's no
that
way.
makes any
There's no
sense.
way.
Well, if you're in Neil deGrasse Tyson's court, personal observations can't be trusted. You need to be able to record it with a device repeatedly before it can be believed. So rather than observations, you need recorded data from multiple instances before you can actually believe what you're seeing, because the eyes can lie.
Yes.
So, I mean, but, theories are great and all. And it's the human mind reaching for explanations or postulating ideas because we can't see past a particular boundary. And we feel like there's got to be more than this. And sometimes it's just a feeling, but there's a logic to it, but it's based on sometimes hints, sometimes stuff that may seem completely unrelated, but there's a tenuous link. And until you can step outside of this universe and look down and say, okay, well, there's a whole bunch of them. Look at all of them down there. Till you can get that app and shows you them all, and then interact with it and change things. We're not going to be able to say whether these theories are any more than just theories. This could be all completely wrong, or one of them could be completely right. We do not know. And that's the thing about science. Science will always be reaching beyond what is known. It'll be reaching beyond what is measurable. And people will be thinking hard and theorizing what it could possibly be, because the human intelligence abhors a vacuum. It abhors a lack of knowledge. Back before science was a staple, people used to make shit up to fill up those spaces, make up legends, make up stories of creators and all this sort of stuff that had no data. It's just somebody way back when thought of it, and it's like, well, there's a vacuum over there, I'll fill it with something. Okay, this is my idea. And then you tell it to your children, they tell it to their children. Suddenly it becomes canon, as it were, of your culture, and people believe it because people have always believed it, and that's where you get faiths from. Now, I'm not saying that faiths are wrong. I'm just saying that looking at the way a lot of them have developed, they're filling a need in the human psyche for some sort of structure, some sort of causal factor for the universe, for us being who we are and the way we are. But it doesn't have, like, it's built on faith because there is no data, there is no evidence. And it's sort of one of those catch-22s. You got to believe, but we're not going to give you anything proof to believe in. You've just got to take it on faith, because it's faith, people are always looking for something to fill that void, and some people want faith to fill that void, and that's fine. That works for you. If that gets you the day, that's your thing. But then if you're somebody who desires proof, as it were, data, something to base a belief upon or a theory upon, you won't get that out on the cutting edge of science, because the theories are pushing past what is known and what is measurable. So again, a lot of these theorems may have some logic built into them, but there's no proof, there's no data, and therefore it's somewhat akin to the faith of religion, in that you just believe it until you find out otherwise.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about science is you cannot prove that something is, you just can disprove that it isn't. So the idea of science is that you come up with a theory, you try and disprove the theory. If you can't disprove the theory for long enough, it becomes accepted. If you then can't disprove it for an even longer time, it becomes, I can't think of the correct word, but it's beyond accepted. But basically it becomes institutionalized as part of understanding until it's disproven.
Yes.
So anything that we believe right now in science is correct because of the data that we have could be disproved tomorrow, next Tuesday, in a month's time, in a couple of 100 years, when we discover data that tells us something different. And that's the basic difference between science and faith, is that faith is unmovable because it never had anything to move. Science is completely movable because as soon as the data proves something different, that's what we run with. So
Yes.
one is eminently changeable and the other one's fixed. So
I have always thought that because of that, it's solely in a way. I do agree with deGrasse Tyson when he says that need to be able to measure or record Because and even at that, I think we're falling short. And let me explain. We can only experience things or record things from our perspective, and our perspective is three-dimensional. We could theorize on higher dimension planes, but we'll never be able to experience them because we are in the third dimensional plane. Most of those concepts that I have read about are dealing with, things that are higher than 3 dimensions. So for all I know, string theory and quantum is the exact same thing. It's just being observed differently because we only get a fraction of what we could see on our three-dimensional eyes or recording equipment than what actually is in the fourth dimension or fifth or any higher dimension. And that is something that it always bugs me. We could, and again, I'm not saying everything is wrong. I'm just painting an observation that this might be the reason why we have scientific, discoveries that 5-10 years down the line get disproven after being proven because
they're not the complete story.
Exactly. It just, I always wonder about that.
Hey, here's a brain melter for you that kind of links into what you're saying. Could the reason that we haven't managed to contact alien life yet is because that evolution pushes us into a higher dimension, and that's where they've all gone?
Yes. And we really don't understand that the relationship between the multiverse and higher dimensional planes. There could be a relationship as to why we can't measure it because of our perception. I mean, for crying out loud, we had to separate time and space when we know scientifically that time and space is one thing. Yet higher dimensional beings can't see. And again, I'm going off base here because I'm not a fourth dimensional being. But for them, it is theorized that they could see that as what it is. Time and space is a single thing. So yeah, I do agree. I do agree 100% with that.
Complicated much?
Gio, are you okay, Gio?
I think his brain's melted.
Are you melted? Are
It
you
hasn't.
melted?
I survived this movie.
I could just see that little puff of smoke come out of his head when he's trying to think about this stuff.
It's coming out of my vape.
The little anime puff of smoke.
No, but I want to get Gio's thought because we have talked about this. This is not a foreign conversation, and we had we had this conversation. If you guys remember on the episode of The Arrival, you can hear a lot more of this conversation. But even prior to that and after that, we're always talking about this.
You know what? I was thinking of rewatching that movie today.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Oh yeah.
So, what is your thought about what we were just saying? I mean, based on the conversations that me and you had already about the dimensional planes.
I think that they definitely do exist, and I mean, we have made a fact that depending on your choice of the moment, it will branch out to a completely different reality that would have been would you just continue on the course of action that you usually do. So we have made a fact that even small decisions that we make can have the biggest impact on our present and future.
I see.
So we think it's just like the example you were doing about maybe detouring to get a coffee before going to work and just going to work. That small thing could determine that you meet somebody that is going to make your life completely different.
Yeah.
You know, that's to me a fact as of today. Regardless if multiverse is a proven fact or not, we do know that that is a reality.
Yeah, and I kind of see your point based on the conversations that we had before, and we also had in previous episodes where I said, we are the result of our experiences and past.
Yeah.
So what we are right now is the result of every decision we have made in the past, every experience, everything that we surround ourselves with. And if anything in that change of reaction has changed, it would have end up with us being a completely different person.
Yep. I agree.
But that's just my point of view. I'm not sure if any of you agree or Ray or your listeners. It's just how I come to understand, again, just my personal perception.
I think that we look eye to eye on that. We see
Yeah.
eye to eye on that.
I think so. Okay. So before we melt our listeners' brains even more,
Or mine.
I think I've probably done enough damage, so I'll stop now.
I think we can say goodbye for now. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, I said in every episode, reach out to us in Discord, on Twitter, and let's have the conversation. I am always very curious to see what was your experience with the topic that we discussed. So, after listening to this episode, go and join our Discord. Link is in the description. Go into YouTube and subscribe so you get notified when this comes up a month after it releases. And reach out. You can reach out to it on Twitter and let me know. Did you agree with most of the stuff we said? Did we melt your brain? I hope not. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? Let's have the conversation. This is one of those movies that I love because of the subject matter of multiverse. And let me know if is that something that you find attractive in a sci-fi story, or if that's something that you hate and why you hate it. So you just reach out to us. We're all here for the conversation. And if I can spark your brain into thinking scientifically, I am the happiest person ever. So let me know, and I hope that you enjoyed this enough that you can come back for future episodes. Again, thank you for being with us. We really, really appreciate it.
Till next time.
And next time.
Come back for another Break Your Brain
Is it gonna be
challenge.
Happy New Year's for this episode post?
Huh?
Is it gonna be Happy New Year's for this episode post?
No, this is going to be 2023 January.
Whoa! So happy 2023 belated from the 2022.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.